This is a fiddle version of Jingle Bells. I'll play the main. I'll play my arrangement of it first, and then I'll break it down and I'll show you some tricks on how to learn this one. So that's my version of it, kind of turned into a fiddle tune. If we break it down and we just play the main theme without all the double stops, without all the slides, it sounds like this. So that's just the main tune. If we add some of the embellishments that I've put in, like the double stops and the slides, if we first start off with doing double stops, you want to keep your bow, when there are double stops, on the A string and the E string. So in the beginning, keep your bow on two strings at once. And then when you have a single note, you have to change just to one string and then back to double stops again. So in those first four measures, you're pretty much playing double stops the whole time except for one note. And if you keep your fingers really curved when you put them down the A string, you'll avoid hitting the E string. If they aren't curved so much, you might get this sound. So watch out for that. Really curve those fingers so you're not touching an E string. And if we go on to the next part, first finger and third finger on the tapes, it might be difficult going into that. So what you might want to practice is playing from measure 4, going into measure 5. If you start here, and practice going from the C sharp E to the F sharp D, or I should say from the C sharp E to the D F sharp. You might have to practice that a few times to get used to that, because you're really manipulating your fingers in a way that you're raising your second finger and you're lowering your first and third finger. So if I go on from there, starting at measure 4, it's a lot of the same the whole way through. There's a couple of tricky sections. So you're playing the double stops from measure 5, first finger, third finger on the E and the A string. And there's only a little bit of that. I don't think you don't have to play too much on the E string and the A string with double stops. It's mostly just playing with your fingers down on the A string and touching the E string. But there is this one spot is a little tricky. And then you have that again at the end, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the end. So if you practice going into that each time, you should be able to get that if you do it slowly a few times, and then you should be able to get the speed up a little bit. Okay, now we add the slides. So basically with the slides, you're just going to kind of move. Second finger is the easiest one for me to do it on. I just kind of slide in from a low second finger up to a high second finger. At the very last slide, when you're sliding into first and third finger, it can be a little bit tricky, but it also gives you a little room to make a mistake if you have to. Sounds a lot more like a fiddle tune when you do that also. I left it out the first time, but you can add it in if you want. So that's my version of Jingle Bells turned into a fiddle tune.